Geno knows he's our guy. We love him, and we want to keep going forward.
Joining us live from Indianapolis, the president of football operations and general manager for your Seattle Seahawks, the one, the only, John Schneider is with us. How are you, man?
How's it going, guys?
It's going great. More importantly, how's it going for you?
Everything's going great. You guys are in good hands. The fans are in good hands. We're dividing and conquering down there. We're all good.
Dividing and
can you guys
conquering.
can you guys hear me? Okay, is this okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's okay.
It's a little
You
scratchy.
might want to move to your left a little bit. There you go.
There you go. Get him on the screen there.
Perfect.
There we go. See that handsome devil there? Look at this.
I gotta have my readers on so I can see you guys.
Looking very studious there with those glasses on. Hey, John, before we get into what's going on out there and what's caught your eye, I got to get your opinion on this story that came out this week. There was an anonymous team initially that was lobbying for the brotherly shove, the tush push to be banned. And then it came out that it was your beloved Green Bay Packers that were behind that request. And Dave and I, we were here, and I was just going, Dave, I just hope it's not the Seahawks. I hope it's not the Seahawks because I think it looks weak. I think it looks like, oh, we don't know how to stop it, so you have to ban it. What's your opinion on the brotherly shove? Is it unfair? Do you think it should be is it a bad part of the game, a good part? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, my opinion really is we have to figure it out. We got to fix it. Like we have to. How do you stop it? It's like congratulations, they found out something that's working for them, and everybody needs to figure it out.
Yeah, how much have you studied that? I mean, it's obviously you have the advantage because of the snap, and I was talking about how it's very innovative. And then, like the Commanders at least tried something. You had Frankie
Yeah.
Louvu trying to jump over and time the whole thing and everything. But when you look at it, the other thing, John, is that you late in the season, especially, you can't be in full pads, right? You can't be out there practicing how to do that. So I don't know. It's I think it's innovative, like I said, and I feel like it's a pretty good. I mean, do you have any thoughts or the coaches talk?
Yeah, no,
about that?
we brought in we brought in some rugby folks in the past,
Oh, yeah.
and tried to get with them and try to figure things out and understand the leverage and the timing and just trying to figure out how do you defend it. Now, I will say this, you're talking about a quarterback in Jalen Hurts that squats like more than like 1,700 pounds or something. The guy's super strong. He's rare uh, strength weight room athlete for a quarterback. And then they've done a great job with it. Kelsey was great in the past, and then Jurgens this year. They've just done a really nice job leverage. And then he's so strong, you get something behind him, and it's just working.
What about this part? And we'll move on to other things. But I was asking Dave about this as a defensive player. What if defenders were allowed, the linebackers, safeties, whoever you had on the field, were allowed to shove the D lineman the way the everybody shoves the O lineman forward, and would that?
Yeah, I think that's a cool thought. Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways. We talked about this for several years, at owners meetings and last couple of years,
Mhm.
of what how are we keep it in the game? Or are we not going to keep it in the game? And then also that's a great point. How do you would you let what would you allow certain positions to do to try to defend it? But I think it's what a good for them. Like what a cool idea, and they drafted a quarterback that is a strong, powerful athlete.
Hey, John. So you're down at the combine. I guess my first question, and you kind of touched on this a little bit with how the NIL helps you a little bit, as far as how much did they love the game? But what's the number one thing that you want to know about these? You've seen them on film, you've watched them play. Now you're going to watch them run around in their underwear and all that good stuff. But now, as far as like the interviews, how important that is that, and what's the one thing, the biggest priority that you want to know about these players?
Yeah, I would say having our coaches here this year, interviewing the players in person and watching them interact and how they respond the teaching, and can they teach the coaches? That's probably the most important thing this year. We didn't bring the guys last year because everybody was just installing our systems and getting going. So it's pretty cool having those guys here this year, and then having everybody mixed together. Our whole group, really cool, holistic, approach with their coaches and the scouts, and so learning the person and the competitor and coachable, not coachable. Yeah, that's probably the most important part. The most important part of the whole thing is the medical, and that's why it was started. It was started, the New York Jets drafted Wesley Walker a long time ago, very, famous, talented wide receiver that ended up being blind and legally blind in one eye. And so at that time, everybody got together and was like, "Hey, we need to have a, like foolproof system of medicals and physicals, and so everybody's on an even playing field, and we all know who these people are." So the medical, I'm sorry, from a physical standpoint, who they are.
Yeah.
The medical is why the whole thing got started, and then the testing, the physical testing, and the psychological testing, and just all the things that go on down here. It's become much bigger than that, obviously.
Have you ever had a situation where you pulled a 180 on a player? Maybe there was a player you went into this combine going, man, I love this kid, everything I've seen on film, I can't wait to see him in person. And then either based on his workouts or maybe the interview, you came out of there going, yeah, we're not interested.
That comes through on the interviews, to be honest with you. So yeah, there's been some guys that we've been very excited about from a physical standpoint, and then when you get in the room, or we're evaluating the interviews, or how they treated people here behind the scenes that are busting their tails to make this a phenomenal week. How they've treated people. Yeah, we've backed away from people for sure.
Hmm. Hey, of all of the, we always, like I said earlier, they're running around in their underwear, and it kind of gets downplayed as far as the importance, of, these players. But with, the bench press and all that stuff, other than meeting with these guys, is there one event that tells you the most? I mean, are you watching maybe the drills? We were just watching a little figure eight thing that they were doing there for D linemen.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, putting the towel down and all that. But is there kind of a must-see type of, if you are going to look at those kinds of things, is there one that stands out?
It's interesting. I think it's interesting watching the guys interact with each other. So when in the group, when you're watching it live, because you can get way more. We get way more out of it. You can see it on TV, right?
Yeah.
And some teams aren't even staying anymore for the live workouts, like at the dome. Some teams are leaving after they get through with the interviews and the physicals and everything. So, and meeting with all the agents and all the teams and everything that goes into it early in the week. But I would say, like, watching the guys just compete and how they're prepared for, to your point, Dave, whether it's the bench press or the vertical or the short shuttle, or it depends, and all those things are there's different importance on all the drills based on the testing based on position. So just watching those guys compete and interact, is the guy, like, how they're handling themselves as in the group. Are they, like, kind of, they do their thing and then go off to the side and, like, just be by themselves and be on their phones, or are they hanging out with the other guys and, like, encouraging them and
Yeah.
talking to the coaches and interacting?
Real quick, how do you feel about the guys that don't go? Because I always say, like, a workout at the college is kind of like, okay, you got all your stuff, you got your receiver, you got, your locker room, everything. But to come in here and compete against other guys, do you knock guys down a little bit, maybe for somebody who doesn't want to come here? Because I feel like the guys that come there, they want to compete against one another. And is that kind of a little bit of a check mark if somebody doesn't come there?
It depends. I mean, it depends on the player, right? So there's some guys that have, like, the film doesn't lie, right? The eye in the sky does not lie, Dave, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, the film is what it is. And so there is maybe in the back of our minds a little bit, we tend to say, if a guy's not here competing, what does that mean?
Yeah.
But what it does is, if they don't do it, it makes us really focus on the questions that we need to keep getting answered throughout the spring. So how are we gonna? Okay, why didn't you compete? Why didn't you not go to the All-Star game? You're invited to the Senior Bowl and you didn't go. Why is that? Because you wanted to what? What are the reasonings?
Hey, John, we saw the salary cap number come out at $279.2 million. I'm just curious, how close were you? We asked you last week if you had an idea roughly what you're going to be dealing with. Do you feel like you guys were, and I don't think you were waiting to make moves based on what this number was. I assume you were just moving with your plan and assuming it would be in this neighborhood. But how close were you to this number?
Yeah, well, I think I told you guys before, the law firm of Joey and Joey here, Joey Schneider and Joey Lane, right? Yeah, 275, and then being conservative, so four up, which is great. We'll take anything we can get.
Yeah, and Spotrax says you're still $7 million over. How close is that?
Yeah, the sky is falling. Yes, yes.
All right, that might be the last salary cap question we ask you, John.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
sounds like. Yeah.
no, it's all, yeah. There's a million sites you can get on.
Okay.
We've talked about this before, but there's a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot of different scenarios and models, and I'm just very impressed with working with Joey Lane, now for the last, several months, and then obviously, Joey Schneider, watching those guys interact, how they interact with everybody in the scouting department and taking all the information. It's very impressive, and how they interact with the other teams and then the other agents. So it's been great.
Hey, so with the interviews, which I think are pretty important, can you tell when a guy's been coached up by his agent, and and who are some of the guys that you have in the room? Is there anybody that's particularly good at kind of sniffing out the BS? This guy's answering all these questions,
Yeah,
the
cool.
right way, and can you? You've been
Yeah,
to a
great.
lot of combines.
No, that's a really cool question. Jason Barnes is probably the guy that really can like go right at it and sniff things out, and is like, man, this guy's full of it. But yes, guys are definitely coached up. I did a cool thing yesterday with ESPN with Jason Light, and they asked us like we were favorite like scouting stories or interview stories, and one of them was, I'm not sure if I've shared this with you before, but one of mine was we asked a running back, like, you would prefer, you feel like you're more effective inside runner or an outside runner, and he's like, "Are you kidding me? Have you seen our new indoor facility?"
Yeah.
And then the other, we had another running back, and we were asking about his marijuana smoking, and at the time, this I was still at the Packers. My boss kept pressing him and pressing him and pressing him, and finally he panicked. He's like, "I don't understand it, son. Like, why would you do that? I just don't understand why you would do that to risk everything." And he's like, I'm sorry. I was just on the couch and I was next."
Give him points for honesty, I guess. Huh?
Yeah.
I was next.
Right.
So what stood out is there a schedule? Like, do you have all your meetings set up in advance? Like, all right, on Monday we're doing this. We're meeting with these agents. We're meeting with these teams. We're meeting with these individuals. Tuesday we're doing that. Is that all, or is there some fly by the seat of your pants moments where maybe you're talking free agents with some agents out there? How does that whole process work?
Yeah, both. There's a pretty strong schedule. So early in the week, the National Football League's done a nice job of prepping us now for the owners' meetings. So really, the first 2 days are heavy league meetings and different committees I'm on for the league, and then you guys know how much I love the media stuff, so getting through that was, always a blast, right? I did it this year. It was like I wore like this my like heavy like black jacket, and like I got up there and the lights were on there, and it was like super hot. And I'm like, do I take this off? I have a t-shirt on there, and it was like
Sweating through it.
like, oh my gosh, like Pearson got me a towel. He's like, man, like I gotta stop sweating. But anyway, no, so getting through the media stuff, and then I said divide and conquer because the interviews are going on nonstop. So we have the position coach, the coordinator, the head coach, area scout, um, you know, Aaron Heinlein, director of college scouting, Trent Kirshner, Matt Berry, everybody that's involved in the interview process over at the Dome, and then we have a lot of like I said, like Willie and Joey and Joey Lane and Nolan and myself. That those guys primarily meeting right here in this room is where we meet with all the agents and different teams and trying to get a lay of the land. We just got done a couple minutes ago actually with our last agent meeting of the day. So I'm not over at the Dome, watching the workouts right now. And then the evenings is still a lot of kind of offshoot. So I'll be able to get over the Dome, tomorrow, next couple of days now, and be able to watch the workouts in person. But then we also have those one-offs where you just get a text here and there. It's like, hey, can we meet up for coffee here? Can we grab a quick beer here? And just kind of the one-off meetings with individuals to try to figure out what's going to be happening as free agency starts and possible trades and that sort of thing.
Hey, John, I know that for the visits, you have like a number that you can do. I think is it 30?
30.
Yeah. So what about as far as the interviews go there? Is there a number that you have to stay under, or can you just
Yeah, they keep it they keep it. There's a number and there's a time, and it's very it's so much more organized than when you came out, Dave. I mean, it's very. When I started, you had to like stand in line. I would stand in line at the Raiders door to wait to interview, Randall Cunningham or whatever, right? Like you just like stay there and like wait, and then we'd form a line, and then it was kind of, there was no like time limit. Guys could keep people, so there were literally like fights. And I remember I was there one day where it's kind of like an embassy suites layout, and there's like two little pools there, and these two scouts started fighting over a player, and they're like in the pool, like beating the crap out of each other.
wow.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. So it's just way more organized and
And no fights.
inefficient.
Good.
Yeah, nobody's fighting.
Sounds boring.
Well, I guess some NFL insiders almost fought last night or something, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we heard
Heard
about
about that. Yeah. I'd like to see that too.
That would be kind of fun to see.
Yeah, it'd have been awesome. If you happen upon that, John, you better get that on your get the iPhone out and send us the video.
I'm sure it was much more fun than the meeting I was at. So.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it might be the most pathetic fist fight that you ever witnessed, probably.
Stands a good chance. Hey, in looking, we're always looking at Spotrac, even though I know it's not exact, and just trying to get an idea of, all right, well, this looks like somebody whose contract could get adjusted, or this could be a cap casualty. You saw there was some maneuvering with a trigger date with Nwosu. Are you guys working on restructure to sort of lessen the impact of that cap hit with him?
Yes.
All right. And then you also
But it's a process that we're working through, and we met with his guys this week, so we'll continue to do that.
And then you also told the reporters out there you guys are working on an extension for Geno Smith.
We'll be meeting with him with his guys tomorrow, and we hope to get an extension with Geno, and Geno knows he's our guy. We love him, and we want to keep going forward.
So do you sorry, Dave, do you guys know going into this conversation ballpark where he's thinking and he knows where you guys are at, or is this going to be a meeting where you find out exactly what he's expecting, or do you have some?
Yeah,
some
it's where we find out what he's thinking. It's a great question. Yep, and it's interesting because a lot of the conversations too are, and take quarterbacks out of it, or regardless of position, everybody's trying to figure out what everybody's market value is, and by position it can range from it can be off, 2 million, it can be off 6 million. It really when the gun goes off for free agency is when we find out exactly what's going on. But we're down here conversating, kind of ballparking it and strategizing to get ready for, okay, the next steps once free agency hits.
Hey, John, you've always talked about having coaches that are teachers. And, as far as like the run game, let's just say, for example, I mean, everybody talks about, free agency and draft class and what guys are you going to get in there. But what percentage of it is like repairing that part of your game, whether it's just the offensive line or run game, is coaching, is just, how much do you think they can, like a ballpark number, how much do you think they can help the run game? And, is that kind of how you look at it, that there's personnel, but there's also the kind of offense that you run that is, better suited for the players you have?
No question. There's always this marriage between acquisition and development and teaching, and that's player development. That's also Mo Campbell or Mo Kelly, Duke Campbell, Jason Peters are going to be joining that group as well on player development, and then the technical side with the coaches. Rick Dennison, John Benton, all those guys. Justin Outen is joining us as well. These guys are going to be teaching it, and then it's the identification and the acquisition portion, where we're trying to figure out who's the scheme fit, what the intangibles are. How do we help the person? How do we help the player compensate for his deficiencies? How can we accentuate everything that all the positive attributes that they have? So it's a marriage of like these three worlds, and obviously when you're here, like I said, the medical is a huge portion as well. So you're looking at durability, you're looking at length of career. How quickly, where are they playing? How quickly can we help them get better?
John, great to talk to you, man. You look great out there. Looks like you're having fun. By the way, are you going to get in a 40 time while you're out there? See what you can do on the bench press and go through any of the drills?
That's your world, man. You're the bench presser.
What would your 40 time be right now? What do you think?
Oof, I'd probably go like 6'5", maybe
6'5",
maybe 7 flat, maybe probably 7 flat.
Okay.
Reggie McKenzie timed me like 2 years out of college. I was like, I can run a 4.58 easy. Come on, man. Like, that's no problem. So we had this big bet, and after one of the workouts they timed me and I ran 5 flat. I was just like, what is wrong with me? What happened?
Oh, so good. John, we appreciate you, man. Have fun out there, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, John.
There you go. John Schneider, everybody.